15 minutes. Workers at a recycling centre in Hull are threatening to take strike action after they say a union steward was victimised. Staff from the Wilmington site held a mass meeting last night and voted in favour of a strike ballot if the steward isn't let back onto the site. His union, UNISON, say he's been picked on after a safety issue there. Joe Gibbins from UNISON told me more.
It's quite complicated, Andy. Last night we had a mass meeting of people who work at the Wilmington Recycle Plant, which was formerly a Hull City Council workplace, which was privatised quite a number of years ago. And it's gone through various different companies who have been running it. The current company who runs the site, FCC, who manage the site, have banned one of our members off the site permanently for life. And he works for a different company who runs out the site called Hargreaves. And I'll state now that Hargreaves, we don't have an issue with Hargreaves at all. Hargreaves have been very fair to Russell. But anyway, our member Russell Bowering was disciplined for an health and safety breach. In the hearing, and I represented Russell, he was actually not found guilty of any driving errors or anything untoward with his driving, but he was disciplined for failing to report an accident in the proper way, which Hargreaves disciplined him for, and then said he can go back to work. Well, FCC, who manage the site, have refused to accept this and have banned him off site for life. And the reason we had the meeting last night in Unison's building was basically because Russ is a Unison steward, and FCC have basically trying to get the union off site, and they're attacking Russell for his ability to organise and maintain a strong trade union within the workplace there. So we had a ballot last night, an indicative ballot of all the men who work at the Hargreaves FCC site at Wilmington, and they voted overwhelmingly to strike in support of Russell and getting Russell's ban lifted on the site. Because at the end of the day, you know, if you murder someone, you don't get a lifetime, you know, sentence, and we found it completely unfair and unfounded.
Is it worse, though, going to this now where you've had an indicative ballot where members are saying they're prepared to take strike action if necessary over, we're talking about one person here. I mean, this could bring recycling in Hull to a standstill over one person.
Well, that may be the case, Andy, and obviously we don't want to bring recycling to a standstill, but quite clearly that it can be stopped if FCC lift their ban on Russ and allow him back to work. Russ hasn't been sacked, he's actually been redeployed by Hargreaves to work out of Eggborough, but that's adding nearly a 4-hour journey, which he doesn't get paid for, onto his work. Russ has worked on that site for 30 years. For more than 30 years. And we're going to press Hull City Council actually as well, because Hull City Council obviously procure the service from FCC to do their recycling, and Hull City Council passed a motion in the Chamber a few months ago saying they would not procure services from organisations that blacklist trade unionists, and we're going to push Hull City Council to actually make sure that they put their words into action and support Russell and put pressure on FCC to stop this blacklisting and stop blacklisting a trade union official.
But, I mean, surely people listening will think, hang on a minute, this is something where you've just got to sit around the table and sort this out. We're talking about one person here, and like I come back to, it could bring recycling in Hull to a standstill. Surely this is a matter not for strike action, but for negotiation.
We don't want to strike, Andy. You know, it's always the last resort for any worker. No worker wants to go on strike. We'll be happy to talk any time to FCC, but at the end of the day, our position is very clear. You allow Russell back on the site immediately. It's unacceptable that they arbitrarily ban someone, and it's quite clearly for his trade union organising ability. Russell is banned for life, and we can't accept that, and the only way we'll back down is if Russell's allowed back on that site and they lift the lifetime ban.
Joe Gibbins there from Unison.